Welcome to the From Meeting to Meeting podcast. My name is JP. Very, very happy to be here. I have got literally all the gear and no ideas, so very, very out of my depth. And actually, to be honest, I don't have all the gear. If you're watching this video, you'll see I'm using my phone. It's got a cracked screen to record this video, and just using the webcam on my computer. But it's kind of good enough, I think. To be honest, I don't think anyone's ever actually going to listen or watch this. And I was actually like waiting to get a haircut. I've got a haircut booked next week to record this, but then I thought, fuck it, no one's going to watch it anyway. I've also got Spot here, which I was like, oh, maybe wait till that goes down. But again, I don't really care. This first episode, I wanted it to be a little bit about the plan for the podcast, why I'm doing this, what I'm doing it about. And I actually reached out to a friend on WhatsApp who I do a lot of bouncing back ideas, and said, what do you think? This is what I'm thinking, how to kind of approach this topic. And he responded to me about this podcast and said, look, why don't you make the first episode based on this message you've just sent me? Because a few days before I'd sent him a message outlining my plans for the podcast. And I listened to the message, and it was okay. It was not ideal because I recorded it walking my dog, so lots of background noise. But it kind of got a point across. Obviously, I wasn't really nervous or thinking about what I was saying because it wasn't meant to be for anybody else to listen to. But in the spirit of this podcast, it's definitely good enough, definitely gets the job partially done to allow me to move to the next step, which is what I hope this meeting to meeting concept is going to be about anyway. I'll pass it on to the podcast, over to the next segment, and look forward to speaking to you guys in the very next episode. I think from today I'm going to kind of use all my spare, like sitting on the toilet time, taking a break time, to get into like this whole journey of like lab grown cultivated meat world, podcast content creation, just because I'm like, okay, cool, like now I'm really making a commitment to make this something. So it's not I think it was a bit painful before because I was like, oh, why am I looking at this? I'm not going to do any action about it. And I'm generally like a bit more of a like action first, think later kind of person. So that's cool. Like, because I think actually when I like compound the amount of time I'm just like spending just aimlessly looking at crap is actually pretty significant, compounded over time. And I really think because this like kind of whole content creation side of things is not in my like comfort zone, or not, it's actually not in my comfort zone. It's not like scaring me kind of thing, but it's not my skill set. That's probably what I should say. And I really, really think that the kind of like minimum 100 hours type thing is probably more, but like just like getting in the reps. And so I listened to this person talking about content creation earlier yesterday, and they were like, generally the view is like be consistent with your content creation and like make sure you provide quality content that people actually want to listen to, not just aimlessly providing content. But she was like, but I say like a massive caveat to that is when you're starting out, because basically no one's really ever going to watch it anyway, and it's going to be shit anyway. So she thinks that, yeah, like you need to get those hours in, so you might as well just get them done and not even think about it too much, because that content, like, unless you're in like the small percentage, is hardly going to matter. And it's not too different to like a business, right? Like, is the logo of 4PI right now really, does it matter? Like if it did matter, then you could just change it, like, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, what I was also going to say was I started like looking at some resources in this space. And there's this institute called the Good Food Institute, which is kind of like, from what I understand, I don't know if they're privately funded. It's like an informational body, um, just generally around like the alternative protein space, which is what they call like everything meats, milk, fish, like everything that's generated from like cellular methods. And they have this library of resource, and it's all full of like, but they put it really nicely, like all medical and scientific journals, but in different subjects. And it's like, wow, that's a great resource to start with. And I started looking at it, but then I was like, hold on, like this process that I'm doing now is the content right now that I can share. The like the me going away and learning it and then coming back and like being like the expert is already there. Like that stuff's already there, and people have done it, gonna do it much better than me, and always going to, because I don't have a PhD. I don't have like, and I'm not going to get those like 20 years of academic research and stuff. That's not going to happen. So I was like, oh, let me put a pin on that and actually like focus a little bit more on the, you know, how and what am I going to deliver and how am I going to package it. Because actually, you know, I was sort of putting those time frames that, and I was like, oh, you know, probably towards the end of the year, I'll start reducing my hours and all of that. But then I was like thinking, let's just say on average, I spend an hour to probably an hour and a half, I would say, like walking the dogs or just having to sit in a room in silence because cousin's trying to sleep and I can't walk around the flat. That, over the course of like 2 months, is a lot of hours. And actually, like the non-technical sitting, trying to get my head around a scientific journal, that stuff, the stuff that's not that, can be done in that time. So I'm not going to like make it too much of a document kind of thing or proposal, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start a Google Doc, and I'm going to kind of call it my content plan or podcast plan, just jotting down like concepts, ideas, not of content, but like, you know, what's it going to be called? How am I going to record it? Like, just all the things that I'd need to just like get sort of off the ground. Like, as you said, like, is it going to have YouTube? Is it going to this? Is it going to that? And I'll see how I'm getting on with it. Like, I think if I feel like I'm faffing and over complicating it, I'll put a time deadline on it. But right now, I think I'm just going to get it done. And then, there's maybe like, I want to say maybe like five people that I just want to, like, including you, just present it to, not present it like a pitch, but just share the document to, and just say, oh, like, does anything stand out to you? Like, well, that would be confusing, or doesn't really seem like it makes sense, or, you know, would you add anything here, or have you got any other questions that I haven't thought about, that not necessarily I need to look into a huge amount, but like, I think sharing my intent is like good. So then I have a bit more direction of where I think I'm going to go. So I'd love to, where are we now? Like, I think it's more than feasible to have a document like that out there by the end of November, if not earlier. So sort of send that out and then get some feedback, and then like make any changes that are needed, and then that puts me on good stead to actually start creating some content in December.